They underestimated you. They doubted your worth. Some even betrayed your trust. Yet so, you smiled. Not because the pain disappeared, but because you chose strength over chaos. You chose control over impulse. While others would have folded, you mastered the storm within. You refused to give anyone the power to disturb your peace. And while the world watched, thinking they had you figured out, you became untouchable, calm, composed, unstoppable. And now I'll teach you the rare art of living as if nothing can shake you, not by suppressing your feelings, but by mastering your reactions. Because every morning offers a quiet choice. Will you rise with purpose or drift without one? This single decision, silent, unseen, changes everything. A person can breathe for decades, move through routines, fulfill expectations, and still never truly live a single day. Why? Because they never chose a direction. Without a definite purpose, you're pulled apart by noise, by family's demands, society's silent scripts, by the invisible leash of what you should be. But beneath all that noise is a quieter question. What do you expect from yourself? When you finally answer with conviction, life begins. Not in fireworks or cinematic drama. It begins in the small, deliberate steps that follow a single decision. When you move with purpose, the world stops tossing you around. Distractions lose their grip. Delays no longer derail you. Doubt fades into the background. There's something untouchable about someone who knows why they're here. They don't scatter their energy chasing 100 little things. They choose one mountain and climb it quietly, consistently, without apology. So ask yourself, what are you truly building? Not someone else's dream, not a fleeting win, but something real, something that stretches you, shapes you, costs you, something that, when you finally reach it, floods you with pride. Wouldn't you wake up with clarity? Wouldn't the stress and noise shrink? Picture walking into a room full of hesitation, confusion, chaos, yet feeling none of it. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've made one decision that matters. The moment you say, "This is my path," you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for permission. You stop asking for validation. You simply begin. But purpose demands courage. That's why so many avoid it. They wait for clarity to magically arrive. It won't. Life won't assign you a mission. You must assign one to yourself. And those who thrive, they're not the loudest, not always the most talented, they're simply the clearest. They see a mountain no one else sees, and they climb it step by step without applause. So ask yourself, are you ready to live like that? Emotional fortitude. Think about the last time your emotions got the best of you. Anger that spilled over, anxiety that made you hide, fear that made you shrink. In that moment, who was really in charge? Your vision or your reaction? Emotions are powerful, but left unchecked, they don't build, they break. They scatter your energy, blur your clarity, and leave regret in place of progress. You are not fragile. You're not a helpless passenger drifting through life. You are equipped with awareness, intention, control, but they only activate when you take the wheel. The difference between reacting and responding is just one breath, but that single breath can change everything. Life will not ease up. It will bring friction, delays, disrespect, disruption. You can't control what happens, but you can master how you show up. That is emotional fortitude. It's not about pretending you don't feel. It's about standing in the storm without becoming the storm. Imagine someone insults you. Do you throw your piece into the fire just to retaliate? Or do you see their words for what they are, a reflection of them, not you, and keep walking? Not because you're weak, but because you're grounded, because you've learned your energy is worth more than proving a point. That's not detachment, that's mastery. True emotional strength doesn't dull your fire, it channels it. It directs it toward your growth, your goals, your higher vision. When you stop reacting, you become responsive. And in that space between stimulus and response lies your greatest freedom. You don't bottle up feelings or fake serenity. You acknowledge the first emotion and still choose the right move over the easy one. The world may poke you, provoke you, push you, but you decide what comes next. And the person who can feel everything without being ruled by anything, That person doesn't just survive, they command life. Discipline is freedom. Most people see discipline as a cage, a routine that kills joy, a sacrifice of spontaneity. But they only see the surface. True discipline isn't restriction, it's liberation. It frees you from chaos. It frees you from inconsistency. It hands you the keys to the life you actually want instead of the one you're stuck reacting to. Picture a day where you don't wake up late, rushing, regretting wasted time. Instead, you rise early, energized, clear-minded, you know what matters, and you move toward it without hesitation. That's not a burden, that's freedom. Freedom from distraction, freedom from regret, freedom from the question, what if I had tried harder? Discipline is the power to lead yourself. While most drift, ruled by moods or circumstances, you decide, you act, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. That's where the edge is. Every small choice stacks. The time you wake, the way you respond when you're tired, the decision to push forward or take the easy way out. Each one is a declaration of the life you're building. And when you keep the promises you make to yourself over and over, confidence grows. Quiet, unshakable confidence. Like the farmer who rises before dawn, planting seeds in the cold without guarantee, the harvest doesn't wait for inspiration. It responds only to consistent effort. Your goals are no different. They don't care about your mood, they only respond to your actions. If you want a rare life, your habits must be just as rare. Not perfect, consistent, so strong that even on hard days you keep moving. That life isn't given, it's built. And the tool is discipline, resilience. You try, you fail, you rise, then life hits again, unexpected, unfair. And in the silence that follows, a small voice whispers, maybe this isn't for you. But you don't listen, because you know setbacks aren't signals to stop. They're invitations to grow stronger. Every person you admire, every creator, every leader, every success story has a trail of failures behind them. More attempts than you know, more breakdowns than you've seen. Their strength wasn't born in comfort, it was forged in resistance. The thing that separates those who rise from those who retreat isn't talent, it isn't timing, it's the stubborn decision to continue. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel the pain, it means you refuse to let it define you. Every obstacle life throws is a question, how much do you want this? Your answer isn't in words, it's in what you do next. Imagine a blacksmith striking raw metal. To the untrained eye, it looks like destruction, but it's not. It's transformation. That's you. Life hammers you, but instead of shattering, you're being shaped. Each failure tempers your resolve. Each burn sharpens your edge. You are not being broken, you are being made. So what if failure lost its power over you? What if you knew that only quitting could stop you? Would you take bigger risks? Would you step further? Would you dare bolder? Resilience, writes a story. It says, "This isn't over unless I say it is." You've survived moments you thought would break you. You're still here, still breathing, still willing. That matters. So when the next challenge comes, and it will, you already know the answer. You rise, maybe slower, maybe bruised, but you rise, not because it's easy, not because it's fair, but because resilience isn't about being unbroken, it's about being unshakable. The courage to begin before you're ready. How many dreams have died waiting for the perfect moment? How many ideas are buried in notebooks, in conversations, in the safety of someday? We love to say, "I'll begin when I'm ready." It sounds wise. But readiness is an illusion. It will never fully come. One more book, one more course, one more conversation, and still the feeling won't arrive. Because readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Life doesn't pause for your perfection. The days go on, the years pile up, and if you're not careful, 5 years will pass while you're still waiting. The world won't wait for your fear. It moves with or without you. Every person who's done something meaningful started in uncertainty. Shaky hands, half-formed plans. They weren't ready, but they were willing, and that made the difference. No mentor, no book, no ideal condition will give you the permission you're secretly waiting for. Only you can do that. So imagine standing at the edge of a dark forest. You can only see a few steps ahead. Fear says, What if you get lost? But a quieter voice says, what if this is exactly where you're meant to go? That's the voice you follow. Not because fear disappears, but because you've decided it won't be in charge anymore. You were not born to store potential, you were born to express it. And expression requires motion, imperfect motion. Confidence doesn't appear before you start, it's earned because you started. So ask yourself, what would change if you move forward today? Not perfectly, not completely ready, but ready enough. Because the world doesn't reward those who wait to be flawless. It rewards those who show up trembling and still take the first step. The time will pass anyway. The question is, will you pass with it, still waiting, or will you finally say, this is my moment? Mastery over thought. Guard the gates of your mind. Your mind is the most sacred space you will ever own, more than your home, more than your bank account, because your future is shaped there. Your self-worth is built or broken there. Every habit, every belief, every identity begins there. Thoughts are not harmless, they're seeds, and seeds, when watered with attention and repetition, grow. A single doubt, replayed long enough, becomes a limitation. A single negative thought repeated can rewrite your destiny. So who is planting in your mind? You or the noise of the world? We live in a time of endless input, conversations, headlines, opinions, all begging for a place in your head. But your mind is not a dumping ground, it's a garden, and if you don't tend it, weeds will grow. You can't stop every thought from appearing, but you can choose which ones to feed. Someone says something cruel. Do you replay it in your mind, letting it sting again and again? Or do you see it for what it is, noise, and let it go? Mastery begins the moment you realize you don't have to believe every thought you think. Your mind believes what it hears most. So if you keep feeding it fear, it will feel like fact. But if you feed it truth, vision, purpose, it will shape your future. You become what you dwell on, so dwell wisely. Faith in the unseen. There's a moment everyone chasing something bigger than comfort will face. It's the quiet moment after the excitement fades. You've done the work, you've shown up, yet the results are invisible. No applause, no breakthrough, just silence. And this is where most give up, but not you, because you know PR. Progress often grows underground first, like a seed buried in soil. For weeks it seems like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface roots are forming, deep, strong, unseen. Your efforts are no different. You might not see the fruits yet, but they're coming. Faith is trusting the process when the evidence is invisible, not blind hope, but a deep knowing that if you keep showing up, life will align when the roots are ready. Faith is action. Faith is persistence. It's moving forward when today looks like yesterday, when no one else sees what you see. So ask yourself, if success was guaranteed as long as you didn't quit, would you keep going? Then act like it's true, because the only difference between those who reach their dream and those who don't is that the first group never stopped planting, never stopped showing up. Let others quit when it's quiet. Let them call you foolish for continuing. You'll keep going, because you're not doing this for applause. You're doing this for the life you know you're capable of building. And one day, the breakthrough will come. People will call it sudden, lucky, overnight. But you'll know the truth. It was never sudden. It was never random. It was just faithful. Faithful to the process, faithful to the vision, faithful to what you could not yet see. So keep planting, keep rising, trust the invisible. Your roots are growing. Your time is coming.